turning back.
Welcome to the Lost Boy Scouts podcast. Here we are again, Tyler.
Good to see you, Danny.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had death.
We did.
Somber.
Yeah, it was good. So I listened to it, and it's interesting because death has always been something so weird to me, and I kind of talked about that. Like, I was so afraid of dying. I was telling Jesse yesterday.
Yeah.
Him and I were talking about he had seven calls that they were on where a couple people did not make it, and he is so flat about it. Doesn't attach himself to it, doesn't think about it. He's like, it's not my cross to bear, it's not my issue. You know, I did my best I can.
Do what you can.
And but me, you know, I still kind of like attach myself to it, right? Yeah. And so when I was a kid, I was terrified of dying. Yeah. I would like sit up all night long and think about, I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
I'm gonna die, and I'm not gonna be here one day. And then we kind of talked about like how that ended up changing, because I did have to get some counseling as far as like just some childhood trauma that I needed to figure out. You know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. You got to take care of your bread and mentals. And you know, for those listening, Jesse is a paramedic, firefighter. And I think there are certain professions where you touch death more often, and you need to shut it down a little bit. And it'd be interesting to get his perspective on, you know, somebody that's closer to you or somebody that's like, but it's great to kind of have that perspective to know that like, you know, from that perspective, from a firefighter, from somebody who's out there dealing with, you know, overdoses, and puke all over themselves, and like, you know, you just do what you can. You kind suicides.
He said that's like one of their highest calls. Man. And I was like, so are the parents there? And he's like, oh yeah.
Oh, that's good.
And I'm like, dude.
Wow, it's gotta be hard. Yeah, I mean, that's gotta be hard.
How do you process it? But he's like, man, like, you know, you feel bad, you feel sorry for him, but it's not, I'm not attached to the situation. I don't put any feelings on it.
There's a power to detachment, I think. Yeah. There's a power to detachment in a lot of things. Yeah, and I think as a skill, as a man, it's knowing when to really detach is probably an important skill to know as a man. Yeah. Depending on like I said, your occupation, you know, there's doctors that I'm sure work on patients and build relationships with them, and it's a little bit harder, but going into a scene fresh like that, you really, really have to protect yourself.
Yeah.
Your own environmental. So I'm proud of you for doing what you need to do to deal with it. I mean,
I still every once in a while, like I'll still catch myself up all night long thinking about like, if I was to be gone tomorrow, are my boys prepared? Yeah. Misty, of course, probably not, but it's okay. Like, I mean, we're so close. Her and I are like so close that she wouldn't be prepared for it, but that's not the way to think. And I don't think that like death is, I'm not afraid of it anymore. I'm not scared of it. I'm not like worried about like, oh my gosh, tomorrow it could happen. Yeah. But every once in a while I do get in my own head and my own thoughts. Right. And when I listened to the episode, I could hear in my voice that I wasn't comfortable talking about it. You know, that I could tell in my voice that I was like really having to push myself to talk about it, which was really good for me, because Jesse talked about that. He goes, man, you got to just talk about it. Like you just have to talk about these situations, and it's okay. Like if you're afraid, if you're scared, like talking about it is the best thing that you can do. Right.
Absolutely.
And having people that you feel comfortable, like that they're not going to judge you for being, you know, in your own mind, soft about certain things, right?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, and I really like I still think about the situations that you've had and the things that you've done, and I think like how proud I am of you as a man that you are able to compartmentalize and to be who you are as a person, because I think you are a very caring person. You know, I think you have a very strong, caring characteristic about yourself. Yeah. And to me, it was a good episode that I hope people listen to and you know, put their own spin on it. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was good.
Man, so what have you been up to since that? I mean, it's been a week, a week and a half.
Yeah. So we ended up going to Cody Jinks.
Yeah, cool.
We had such a good time. Oh. Man, Misty and we had such a good time. And we really, we ended up meeting, you know, I always worry about being in that big of an environment. And people are drinking, and there's a lot of things that happen. Like there's a lot of like testosterone. I'm always like aware of my situation, right? With the fact that we train jiu-jitsu and that we constantly are told to be aware of your surroundings and know your exit plans, know your exit strategies, right? I always think, gosh, I just hope we sit next to good people.
Right. You have to. I mean, anybody that spent time in the military will talk about, or they'll talk about having an exit strategy, because no one's coming to save you. And you look at what happened, in this, with this whole Gaza situation. I don't want to get too into, but like, those were people that were just out having fun, and then next thing you know, you gotta have a plan. Have a plan to exit.
You need to. And Red Rocks is
best venue best venue ever,
dude. Every time we go there, we're just like, I'd live here just to go to the concerts, right?
Yeah.
And we got lucky. We were not going to rent a car. We rented a car. We ended up going to Hot Springs the morning of. Got back, and then our Uber driver was really cool. She took us right to the top, and everybody was playing, Cody Jinks, and we were just kind of like vibing with everybody. We got right in. My ears are constant. People just want to talk about him. Yeah, we were in line, and some guy says, "What did you do?" And I'm like, "For work," giggling. And Misty kind of smacks me, and he goes, "No, how did you get those ears?" Yeah. And everybody around us started talking about how my ears just stand out and how it's a conversation starter.
Absolutely.
So we go find our seats. Lo and behold, next to us on our right, a couple young kids, wrestlers from Iowa.
Oh, okay.
One's a high school wrestling coach. One's like
corn-fed. It was awesome. Center of the country. Yeah.
So then we're cool.
Yeah.
Guy to the left of us, he was flirting with Misty a lot, so it was cool to me because I was like, whatever, man. I mean, in that moment, nothing's going to happen then.
Right.
Now we're just having fun. It was so weird. Really good opening band. Middle band was Clutch. You ever heard of Clutch? Clutch was around when we were in high school.
Okay.
They're kind of like heavy metal-ish.
Okay.
It was not the crowd for that. No. And then it was like dead silent, and people were like, "This sucks." And I was like, "It's not bad, but it was bad."
Yeah.
And they're a bunch of country fans, and then Cody came out and killed the whole thing, and we sang. Misty and I sang our hearts out with these young kids. I had told myself I wasn't going to drink a beer in the venue. I ended up having one or two, I think, and finding a really good beer, and we slept through our alarm and almost missed the plane.
You can't swing a burning cat in Colorado and not hit a good beer. I'm sorry.
It's so true.
They've got it.
It was good, man. It was. We had a good time, and let's see, we're just kind of like that week. That was it. Kind of hitting the overtime schedule hard at work. You and I have been really hitting some of the things we're working on together.
Yeah.
How about you? What did you have going on?
Man, I had this awesome experience in Bozeman.
Yeah.
Anytime you get to drive from Salt Lake or, Heber, where we are, to Bozeman, you get to hit West Yellowstone.
Always.
And you get to hit some of the best parts of Idaho.
Mm-hmm.
And, an amazing drive up the river there. And I love Bozeman. I spent a significant amount of time in Montana. You just get in Montana and it feels bigger.
It does.
It feels like it lives up to the big sky country.
It really does.
We had an incredible meal in Bozeman at a restaurant called Sean.
Oh.
A Chinese restaurant or Asian fusion or, I'm lucky to be connected to some people who know some people awesome, we met the chef and he's bringing us out all these dishes. I thought he was playing a prank on us. He brought out these hot wings that were like, they were so freaking hot.
Were they even oven hot or just seasoning hot?
They were definitely oven hot by the time they cooled down though, but it was one of those things where they were so spicy that it was like, you wanted to enjoy it, but it was so spicy. But the whole meal was just, it blows my mind.
Good time.
Yeah. Heroes and Horses. What an incredible charity.
Yeah. Give a little background on it, because I think it's a Navy SEAL guy.
I don't know all the players. I apologize. I know Mitch. I think he's the CEO. He got up and gave a great talk about what they do. It's really the charity is focused around our service members.
Right.
those that are struggling with PTSD, those are struggling to work in relationships. And they basically go to a 41-day boot camp. And the boot camp is, structured very similar, very regimented to what these men are used to. Right? Wake up early, march to lunch, march to dinner. But they're also bringing in like things like a traditional sweat lodge.
Oh, that's awesome.
Or sauna. Sauna, if you're Finnish.
Yeah, I love the sauna.
Yeah, we had the great opportunity to sit by the gentleman who runs the sweat lodge, who learned traditional sweat lodge from native culture, and had a really cool conversation with him. We sat by a gentleman who runs all the horses. That's the other thing. These men work exclusively with horses.
Yeah,
to help them understand themselves. And I it's interesting. It's 41 days and it's cold plunges. It's everything that you would want in like rebuilding yourself, building your routine, talk therapy, equine therapy, horse therapy, like hard work, like reconnecting and reintegrating with yourself. And one of the keynote speakers of the charity was a doctor who had spent time in Fallujah, working with the men who were processing all of what they saw, the destruction in Fallujah. Her husband was a graduate of the program, and she just talked about how beneficial the work that they were doing was.
Good. It looked like you had a good time.
Oh my gosh!
You kept sending me a couple of pictures, and then I was glad because you were like, not sending me too much, because then I have FOMO, and then I'm like, I wish I was there.
Yeah.
Then I get jealous because you're there. Yeah, so it's just enough.
Yeah, I am not.
I teased the shit out of you going up there too, didn't I?
You so did. You so did, and it got to me a little bit because I got up there and I wasn't going to do it, but then I went to this fantastic
backstory.
Yeah.
Hang on. So just so we're clear, what I was teasing Tyler about is Tyler doesn't have cowboy boots. No. He doesn't have a cowboy hat. He doesn't wear Western wear.
No.
He doesn't conform for anybody, or is what he tells me. Right? This is what he tells me. And I'm like, you are going to go get a cowboy hat when you get up there. And he's like, bullshit. No way. And I'm like,
what do you mean?
Oh, you're going to get up there. You're going to have the whole get up. You're going to get cowboy boots. And he kept fading me off and feigning me and telling me no. And I knew in my heart of hearts that he was going to fall for peer pressure. Not the way that he actually did, because man, did you pull it off. You not that you didn't fall into it, but man, you pulled it off.
I kind of I think I knew in my heart of hearts that I was like I was gonna do it, but I was gonna do it in the way that I wanted to do it. And I found this incredible vintage store in Bozeman, Bozeman Vintage. If you're ever there, go check them out.
Check it out.
Such cool stuff. We're cruising through there, and I found a suit that was vintage Western, polyester brown. If you follow me on Instagram, you can see a picture of this suit.
You're going to see a picture of it because when we're editing this, I'm going to put a picture, and it's amazing.
Yeah, I call myself the cosplay cowboy. I bought the suit. I bought boots. I bought a hat. I did it all. I just leaned in.
You did.
I leaned in. I was traveling with a pretty well-known Western photographer, Chris. Man, incredible work. I've linked to his Instagram if you're into Western photography. Just an incredible artist, just an eye.
Yeah, he's got it.
He's got it. And he took some pictures of me and our group. And
because what ended up happening, you bought this vintage.
I bought this suit, and all of us, all the ladies that we went with, obviously they looked lovely. But Chris got a vintage suit as well.
You guys looked awesome.
And we played vintage cowboy. I looked just like Charlie, what's his name?
No idea.
What's his name? Charlie Crockett.
Okay.
Yeah, if you don't listen to Charlie Crockett, I first saw him at Under the Big Sky.
Oh, okay.
Dude came out at like 5:00. It's like the sun is right in his face, and he's wearing a brown polyester suit as well. Sick. And he walks out, his band plays him on. Somebody throws him a guitar. He just looks so fucking fucking cool.
Oh, dude. And you really look good. And you said, it's not just me, it's the photographer. And I'm like, no way, dude, you pulled that off. And so then I was teasing you and you were still like, yeah, dude, whatever, man.
Yeah.
I did it.
Whatever. I did it. I just owned it.
In your own way.
It looked good. I did it my own way.
That's what you said.
Right. Like I got lots of compliments on this suit. We were,
you have a good personality. I'm sure that you made lots of friends up there. You probably were able to smile your way through everything, and I'm sure that everybody was drawn to you.
Yeah,
like normal.
Yeah, the auction started. They raised over $800,000 for the charity in one night. One of these days, I want to be the guy that stands up, because at the end of the auctioneer was really cool. He's like, "All right, this is your chance to give. I want $100,000 donation. I want to be that guy someday that stands up and it's just like, I'll do it.
Put me down.
Put me down. Give me 2.
Did somebody do it?
No. They did pick up one, I think, for about $50K.
Oh, wow.
But they were
even that.
Yeah, I mean, that was just a straight donation.
Cool
Everything
thing,
else was
what a cool thing to be a part of, Tyler.
Yeah. A shout out to the Grit, Grace, Grow ladies, the group that I was with. It's a female version of kind of what we do. Okay. We talk a lot about the female issues, the female story, they work a lot with equine. They do. They are a little bit ahead of us in the fact that they do retreats.
Oh, wow.
They auctioned off 2 retreats for $20,000 a piece.
Oh, wow.
$20,000 a piece.
Good for them.
Yeah. So congratulations to Great Grace
Shout
Girl.
out to them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to see your friends and get bigger and stronger and succeed, right? Like here's kind of interluding to what our topic is going to be about tonight. It's hard sometimes to cheer, right? Because there's always that kind of like envy inside of you that you're like, oh, I kind of wish that I was getting that, right? I kind of wish I was getting that, but man, great for them. Like we're always stoked for people that are doing what they can, and and one time I'd like to, I talked to Tyler about even in jiu-jitsu, right? You have a lot of friends, but you can still feel those like pinges of like
a little jealousy,
right? In the academy, we've got tests coming up. We've got promotions going on.
Yeah. Congratulations on the new stripe, by the way.
Thank you.
My 4-stripe purple belt friend here.
I know. It was crazy. Nothing expected. Jesse and I trained. We had Professor to ourselves, 15 rounds. So you get 2 rounds in and then 1 round out. But it was just Jesse, myself, and Professor. And he surprised both of us. So he got the tape out, and I'm watching him promote Jesse. So I got my camera and I'm just taking pictures because I'm like, man, this is I'm so glad to be a part of Jesse's journey, right? Because we talked about Jesse before. He is so fun to be around. He's so fun to have around.
Yeah.
And he was like so surprised. He got 1 and he was like, oh, this is awesome. And then he got another one and we were like, what? This is so sick. And I'm like, 4-stripe. And all of a sudden he grabs my camera and he's like, give me the camera. And I'm like, what? And I turn around and Professor has a stripe out for me. And I'm like, whoa, wow, this is
the work. You put in the work.
Thank you. That's what he said. He said some really cool things to me. He said that I had made an adjustment on the fly. So Jesse kicked my butt the first round and then I needed to make an adjustment. And he said, you made the adjustment, and it was really cool to see. And then
awesome.
Right then I had committed that if he choked me, I was not going to tap. And you can, if you see me if you follow me on Instagram,
you can check that out.
Tyler posted it on his. You can see me go out. It was kind of funny because I don't remember very much, but Professor said I grabbed his leg like as if I was fighting,
like the fighter that leg locks the referee.
Exactly. I was still in the fight, right?
You're still in the fight.
But man, we've been doing a lot of jiu-jitsu lately. I think you're kind of hitting your schedule a little bit better. You kind of you're still trying to figure that part out, but you've been going more consistently, and anytime you're around that environment more, you feel better, right?
Yeah.
But then it kind of makes you want to be there more, and it's good, man. It's fun to be around. It's fun to see people grow and see our academy grow, and then I think we have 2 weeks and you'll be a blue belt, and you'll be in like another part of your journey that you're gonna grow into and see your real medal. you know, see really what Tyler's made of. And, and you have some plans that you've put in a lot of work for 2 years now.
Yeah.
2 years for your blue belt?
January will be 2 years, but yeah.
So you'll be a blue belt. And that's going to change a little bit about your game and a little bit about you, but you also have some plans, you know, with that.
No, I mean, the impetus behind my jiu-jitsu was just needing something in my life. Sure. And that brings us into the topic of friendship. And historically friendship. I often wonder, like, you know, I personally, I remember having work friends. I remember having, you know, outside of work friends, but like men's friendship is kind of an interesting.
It is
just the dichotomy there.
It is. Did you have a core group of friends in high school?
Yes. And we still talk.
You still talk?
We still talk. We have a group chat here. You know, we grew up in the church together, and, you know, most of them are aware that I'm at where I'm at, and
are they all practicing?
All of them are still members, and I'm aware of where they're at, and we don't talk much about, like, you know why, but we do talk quite a bit about, you know, the good old days, and we share memes and we share stuff that we thought was cool in high school with each other. And you know, it'll go silent for, you know, a few months or a few weeks, and, you know, we'll just dive right back into it. And you know, it was a very pivotal group in my life.
Sure.
I'm assuming you have one as well.
Yeah. Friendship from high school. I talked about this in the very first episode. I made a very drastic change in high school. I was hanging out with the wrong crowd, getting myself into some trouble, had gotten myself into some serious trouble, and then just had decided this is not for me. Ended up hanging out with my cousins, and then meeting some of my best friends that I have now. We are all close. We are very close. And so from the time I was 16 to now, some great friends. And one of my friends is by far one of my best friends, and I work with him. Yeah. So we work together. We're on the same crew. We've worked together for almost 20 years, and it's great because I was able to change myself. I needed to make a change. Yeah. It's interesting because I always thought it was a Utah thing, that in Utah you hung out with your friends because you stayed home. Right. Like, not very many people left Utah. Like my friend group, not very many people left. Yeah. They're all still live in Layton. Wow. Most of them live in Layton or around the surrounding areas, you know.
It's interesting, and the way you position it, it brings me back to, like, I'm sure if you think back to the times when we were reading the books about Crazy Horse, and like the nature of friendship back in those periods was, you know, primarily survival. Sure. You know, I'm sure there were some social benefits as well, but they were part of your war party. They were part of your hunting party. It was survival. And there's probably still some threads to that, you know, even as you talk about changing friends. I mean, it was your survival, right? You had to change in order to survive.
Sure. Yeah, I did. And one thing I often wonder about with friends as men is, how would you, like, let's say like a new person came in, how would that person how would he come through the rights? Because, like, we all grew up together, but there was not very many times when a new person would come in. It was like our group, and then if a new person did come in, it would be like he was almost like he had to go through like a little bit of an initiation, bit of an initiation, right? And see if he could keep secrets, if he could be cool, not hang out with our girlfriends or like our ex-girlfriends. That's a big thing, right? Like for me, like, I always am like, man, I don't want some dude preying on, you know, the girls that we were hanging out with and whatnot, and some new dude coming around.
Can you trust that?
Can you trust it?
Can you trust that person? Yeah.
I think guys deal with that a lot. I think I see Tristan and his friend group, and they even talk about it. They're like, there's certain things that are off limits, and there's certain things that you don't do. If you do, man, then they're in a fight, and they don't talk for a while.
I can't help but think about, like, I think about my father, and maybe not just my father, but like even, you know, friendships in the post 60s, right? Like you're coming out of a lot of stoicism. You're coming out of the greatest generation, right? When we talk about, there's a unique dynamic that obviously I have no attachment to as a non-service member, but those men that go through war together,
sure.
There's some incredible bonds based on some very vulnerable and traumatic experiences,
sure.
right?
Yeah.
And they're friends. You talk about, you see that band of brothers.
Yeah, your
right?
battle brothers.
Yeah, your battle brothers. Yeah. And they can go years without seeing each other, and then they weep when they see each other again.
It's true.
So there's an emotional and vulnerable component to friendship that you have to build. It's built over time. I think it takes men a lot longer to trust.
Sure.
To have that kind of trust, to have that kind of vulnerability inside of their friendships.
And I don't know if it's passed on from generations, but I did read that if you don't have friends around, if you don't bring friends around, then your kids don't bring friends around, and they don't learn social etiquette, and they don't learn social skills. My parents always had friends over. They always had family over.
Yeah.
I've been accused of being a little fake sometimes because of how nice I am and how fast I make friendships, what is perceived as friendships. Like I do, I make, I can make friends in terms of like friendships. Like I'm not like the kind of guy that like will instantly close off from people. Right. But I'm a good read on people, I feel. And I feel like but I've been accused that I'm overly friendly and a little fake, that maybe my friendships aren't as solid as I portray them to be, right? Or as I am. And people have accused me of being fake, that I'm a little fake, and I'm not as what I would see as friendly, but I am. I feel like I am. I feel like I'm I feel like I am. I want to find out things about you, but if people have told me that
I would totally agree. I would never call it fake. I think you show a genuine interest. I think there's a barometer to friendships, right? And it takes, like, I'm sure has your missus ever brought one of her friends who then brought her husband into your group, and you're like, I don't want to be friends with this guy.
I don't want to be friends with him.
I don't know who the fuck he is.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
or he treats his wife wrong.
Yeah.
And now I'm like judgmental because I'm like super cool to my wife, and you're being a douche to your wife, and I'm like, well, I don't want to be friends with you because like I like your wife.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a funny Brian Regan, a comedian, who talks about going on a golf trip.
Yeah.
Right. And he's like, his friend just went through a divorce, hasn't seen his friend in 6 months. Finally goes and plays golf with him. When we gets home from playing golf, his wife was like, well, how was your friend? And he's like, I don't know. Right. Like, and she's like, well, didn't you ask him? And he's like, no, we just played golf. Right. Like, and sometimes as men, we can do that. Like, there's a stoicism to our friendship. And I think that's what allows us to, maintain some friendships, but like true friendships, what does it mean to be truly a friend with Danny? What does it mean to be inside of your inside circle? Yeah.
So for me, like, friendship, for one, my wife and kids are a good judge of character.
Right.
If my wife and kids like you, then I'm probably going to be really, really, I'm going to like you. Right.
Right.
If we have common interests that you and I can find common ground on,
that's huge.
Then we'll get along just fine. If you are cool to your wife, if you're cool to your kids, then I'm going to for sure be more inclined to talk to you, be cordial with you. Right.
Right.
If you're not, if my wife and kids don't like you, then you're probably not going to get an invite to Danny's Christmas party, which it is probably one of the funnest times of the year. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think like, for me, it really is like a sense of, how are you? I mean, like, are you being genuine to me, or are you kind of being fake?
Right.
I don't want to come off as fake. I really am trying to be kind. I really do try to be kind. I really do try to not be aggressive. Right.
Right.
And so those are the same things that I look for in a friend.
Sure.
And sometimes, man, friendships happen fast. Yours and I's friendship happened really fast.
Right.
And I never felt like I needed to double check Tyler's credentials before I get closer. Right. I really liked how you were so cool with your kids, and my kids loved you.
Yeah.
From the get. They when you first met Braxton was like, oh man, like that dude.
Yeah.
What about you for what kind of, because you have the church, right? And so the church kind of like is a little bit of a facade.
Yeah, it definitely is. There's a veneer around, like, everything inside the church is very, you're grouped by age, you're grouped by, so all of the fifth graders, sixth graders, you kind of grow up together, right? And I remember there was an experience where, like, we all would, and you're always doing things. You're always doing activities. There's always scouts and things like that. But I do remember going on activities with these people, and I'm like, I'm not friends with this group. And I've got and so you do kind of conglomerate together. Like, you have your closer friends, but it's superficial. And I think in a sense, it speaks to that barometer, right? Where I can tolerate somebody. We may not be friends, but I can tolerate somebody, and we can get along, and we can do a project together. We can accomplish a task together based on scouts or something like that. But they're not necessarily my friends.
Sure.
I think for my friends, I'm really looking for somebody that shows genuine interest.
Sure.
That will hold space for me. Somebody that I can talk things out with. I want somebody to call me on my bullshit.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? Like, I think we need that.
Yeah.
But I also have to be vulnerable enough with that person to be able to share that kind of stuff, that bullshit that I want to be called on.
Yeah. And be cleaned up.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good way to look at it. Did you feel like when you left the church that you were able to create friendships easier or harder because you didn't have that common ground, that common thing in the church?
I think the hardest part post exit was really just being married. I think it was harder. Friendships for me became harder after being married than it did, leaving the church.
Sure.
Because there wasn't a level of an enmeshment. There was a level of codependency, specifically in my church-focused marriage, where, my focus changed. My focus changed from having good male friends, and I don't think it was healthy.
Sure.
I don't think it was healthy. We had couple friends, and I didn't always enjoy the husbands. I would tolerate them, and some of them I really did enjoy.
Sure.
Right. Some of them we were really great friends. We'd hang out together as couples. But I don't think it was until my divorce where I was like, I'm like you. I can get along with anybody.
Yeah.
I can get along with a lot of people unless I can sense your bullshit.
That's how I feel.
Right. And I feel like I can feel it.
I'm a good judge. Yeah, we're a good judge. I can feel your energy.
Yeah.
I can feel if your energy is bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Or if you're not into it, if you're not willing to put it out there. Yeah. My friends were always very segmented. Even in high school, I had a really close group of friends, but then I also had I played on the lacrosse team. Not all my friends were on the lacrosse team with me, but I was friends with the guys on the lacrosse team, and I had their back, and we'd go hang out from time to time, but they weren't part of my core friend group.
Sure.
So that it's a little bit of a barometer for me as to who I'm willing to let into my life. My closest friends will always be those people that I know I can trust.
Sure.
Those people that I know that I can open up to without judgment.
Sure.
That'll call me on my bullshit, but then also,
call you on your birthday.
Call me on my birthday. But then they'll also be there to say, okay, I've called you on your bullshit. Like, how can I help you?
Yeah.
Right?
You're good. Yeah. You need something.
Yeah.
Something that's interesting for me with friendships. So when I was in, my early age, I lived in Tempe, Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
And so elementary school, we all hung out with each other. Every kid, we played sports with each other. We played basketball. We played tetherball. I don't know if you remember that game.
Yeah. Yeah.
As soon as I went to 6th and 7th grade, they were in the junior high. And now you hung out with your race.
Oh.
So it not that you couldn't hang out with, so I'm Hispanic and I'm Mexican. Not that I couldn't hang out with another race, but you congregated to your race. It was really weird to me that that's how it was, because I'd grown as I had been around some military families, and so everybody just hung out with everybody.
Yeah.
But then when you went to 6th and 7th grade, you knew you were to hang out with your
kind of like prison rules.
Yeah, kind of. It was kind of weird. Moved to Utah, And now I kind of have this idea that, no, I'm just going to go find the Mexican kids and the Hispanic kids, and those guys will be my friends.
Yeah.
But they hung out with everybody.
Yeah.
You know, in Utah, like there was no rules. And so that was cool to me, because then when I got to high school, I was friends with everybody.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have like a set thing that I had to. And I remember thinking how good that felt for me, that I didn't have to like just hang out with certain people that I didn't really care for, right? But that was who I was supposed to hang out with. And now, I don't have any of those reserves. You know, like I don't have any reserves of that. But I often wonder if I would have stayed in Phoenix or in Arizona, if I would have had to like choose, like stay like that through high school. It was weird.
Do you think that, like, you know, obviously, you know, we are a bit more emotional intelligent than our fathers.
Sure.
Do you think your father was able to open up to other men?
No. My dad was in the military 20 plus years. And then he was, my dad had an inclination for women. And so I don't think other men trusted him around their girls.
Okay.
I think my dad has a good, I don't even know what it is, but women are kind of drawn to him a little bit, you know? And he flexes that a little bit. And I don't know if other guys would trust my dad around their wives or their girlfriends.
A bit of a lone wolf, maybe.
Yeah, and I think he probably, was a little kind of a dirtbag at that point with certain things. His brothers are great. He has 3 brothers, and his dad is great, but I don't know if he makes friends like that. I don't think my mom is a social butterfly, and I think that's where I got my social butterflyness from. I have some siblings who are kind of the same way. Like they don't have a big friend group. They don't make friends very easily. And I don't know what side that comes from. But I don't think my dad. How about you?
That's a good question. Like I don't know. I know my dad had a lot of business partners that he worked with that became friends. He's been in bands. He's been in. He's owned motorcycles. I think he's had friends, but I don't know that he's ever really been able to open up to them. I couldn't say it because I didn't witness it. Right. And maybe that's it. Like, I think the benefit of my friendship with you specifically is that Ben sees you and I go to the sauna.
Yeah.
He knows that we go to the sauna to kind of chat things out. Right. He sees us go to jujitsu. Right. So not only do we have like the social aspect of like, we've got the jujitsu in common, but then, there's another emotional connection in that we're doing the sauna, we're doing the sauna, we're running together. And he has the benefit of seeing that.
I was just going to ask you, do you think Ben has a good social group?
I think Ben he's had a really great social group inside of our old community. Oh. He's entered a new stage of life, because that's interesting. That's the next question I want to talk about is stages of life. But he's now in high school. He's exposed to a broader group of people, and I think that there's some cracks have started to appear in that social group.
Sure.
And he's now having to redefine. So it's interesting how our stages of life. When I talked about my marriage, like that changed for me. Like there are stages in life where your friend groups perhaps change.
Agreed. Yeah, and it's okay, like to change friend groups to find the best, what's best for you at that moment, right?
Right.
Because like just hanging out with people that you're like, I don't really want to hang out with you is not fun.
No.
And it's okay to have splinters, and it's okay for those friends to have other friends as well. Sure. I think me personally, like I like sometimes become possessive with my friends, right? And I'm like, hey, Tyler, let's hang out. And you're like, no, I'm gonna go hang out with them. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, man, wait, you have other friends besides Danny?
Yeah, Danny, I'm not a puzzle piece.
Yeah, right. Like, sometimes, man. And so like I tell my kids the same thing. Like, hey, man, like. It's cool if you go hang out with other people. Go do other things. Like
that was you and Ray on the mat the other night, by the
way. Man. Yeah. Yeah.
But no, I think it is. You do have seasons of friends, but I think what's important is that you're picking people that make you better. The hands down, my number one marker. Can I trust you? Are you going to make me better? Mm-hmm. are we going to sit around and talk shit and trash and talk about how miserable things are? No.
I don't want to.
I don't want to do that. I mean, I certainly had a season of my life where those people bring you down, but you have to open your eyes and realize, man, there's a saying about lobsters, right? You put lobsters in a bucket. If a lobster tries to escape the bucket, the other lobsters will pull him down. Those are not the type of friends you want.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Right? Push me out.
Yeah. Push me out. Yeah. Give me a boost.
Yeah. Help me out. Dude.
Give me a boost. And if, when I get to the top, I'll reach my arm down and pull you up.
Yeah.
Those are the type of people you want. You want people that are making you better.
Yeah. And as men, as we find those good friendships, like for me, this is why jiu-jitsu. Because I am so happy for you when you get promoted. Right. I'm so stoked for you. I'm so stoked when I see you training hard and I'm like, man, Tyler's not putting up with that dude's shit today.
No.
And you're like, I'm not putting up with it today. And I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, because I don't want you to. Right. If we're going to battle, if you and I are going to war,
right,
you better have your best foot forward, right? And so in jiu-jitsu, when you find that good band of people that are going to push you to get better, want you to get better, see you get better, and they're encouraging you, then you want to be there more. Right? Mm-hmm. Some of my best friendships right now are because of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some of the people that I've met in my life are because of jiu-jitsu. And you learn to struggle with each other. You learn to be happy for each other.
Yeah.
You learn to defend each other, and you learn to fight with and for each other, right?
Yeah.
And that in itself is what you want as a man. You want to be able to be that person who people can lean on, and who you can lean on, right? Which is going to help your marriages, your girlfriends, your kids, your parents, your job. It's just going to help you all the way around. And it's going to help you be able to tolerate a lot of things.
Showing up as your authentic self,
for sure,
in those friendships is super important. As we wrap up the topic here and we maybe close out, let's talk about, like, how do you make friends as an adult? How do you, as a man, find those people? Because I know, when we emphasize that we talk about men's issues, those people that get to those dark places maybe don't know how to go find. How do you find friends? How do you find these other men?
That's a heavy question, because I think part of it is putting yourself out there.
Yes.
Really
letting your guard down a little bit. Yeah.
Going to things that you may not normally, going to events, going to classes, going to, let's say, just anything that, not the bar, not any of that bullshit, but like some things that you may not normally go to, and then just introducing yourself.
Get out of your comfort zone.
Being vulnerable to go up to somebody and shake their hands and be like, Danny Okonya, what's your name?
Yeah.
And then just see what happens.
Yeah.
I think that a good handshake and eye contact with your name says a lot about you.
Dude, I love that about jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And I try really hard, especially in our academy. Like, if I see a new face, introduce myself. But dude, I remember being in Florida last summer and just being like completely overwhelmed.
Yeah.
There weren't many white belts in the room. Completely overwhelmed. I'm hoping this February it'll be a little bit different.
It's going to be.
I'm carrying a little bit more weight, but at the same time, like, I've just grown personally. Getting out of your comfort zone.
Getting out of it.
Maybe trying something new for you, whether it's CrossFit, but it's got to be something you enjoy. Mm-hmm. Develop those things that you enjoy.
Don't chase accolades.
Yeah.
Don't chase accolades. Don't chase anything.
Right.
Accolades are going to come. If you're chasing, it's probably, it's going to feel a little fake. It's going to feel a little foreign. It's going to feel a little like contrived and forced.
Yeah.
Right. And people can feel that with men. Instantly if that person is fake and foreign and contrived a little bit.
Yeah,
and, like, you can feel it. Energy is transferred. Professor talks about that a lot with jiu-jitsu. Like, you and I are transferring energy. Mm-hmm. If your energy is off today, then my energy is going to be off in return.
I have never felt that more apparently than on the mats.
Yeah.
100%.
100%.
When you match up with a guy who's bringing a funky energy.
Yep. Yeah, and maybe like that person's kind of feeling it off of you, right?
Oh, yeah. And you definitely have to have the self-awareness to understand it might be you.
Yeah, it might be.
Right? It might be you.
Man, self-awareness.
Self-awareness
with a friendship is key. Self-awareness, self, like where you can like internalize, am I bringing some negativity to this table today? That in itself speaks volumes when you're trying to make friendships. Mm-hmm. When you're trying to reinvent yourself, if you leave the church and you're trying to find a different path and a different group to hang out with, like, man, self-awareness is going to help you a lot. Right.
So much.
Yeah, man. So just keep that in mind. Friendship is a funny thing. And I think that I'm blessed. I think that I'm lucky to have the friends that I have. I don't have a lot of close friends. Mm-hmm. I have a lot of acquaintances, and I've really been working hard on kind of toning down just being like everybody's friend. Yeah. I want to go back to like, okay, I'm going to be friends. We're going to be acquaintances. I'm going to be cool with you. I'm not going to be a douchebag to you, but my friends are going to know the true side of Danny. Yeah. And not everybody gets that.
No, right? I think you do need to be boundaried around, boundaries in and of themselves, boundaried with yourself, boundaried with who you let, what you let in your life. Sure. For sure. And I think it's okay to be acquaintances. It's okay to say that like, I don't need this energy. Yeah. I don't need what this person has to offer right now. I can still see you. I can still hold space for you. Unless there's a level of disrespect, and in which case, I'll turn my back on you.
Yeah, that's it.
But get out there if you are feeling down, because there's been so many times when I've needed to reach out to somebody. So many times when I've just needed to, you feel that darkness overcoming you, and you just need to reach out to somebody and, build that friend group.
Agreed.
It's not easy. You're going to have to get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah. You got to put yourself out there.
You got to put yourself out there. Try something new.
Sure.
There's tons of
hot
yoga. There's, get on, Meetup. Yeah. There's all kinds of activities that are happening on Meetup. You know what I mean? We advertised Men's Ascent on Meetup. Yeah. CrossFit, get into a men's league soccer team, like play some rec soccer.
Yeah.
Don't just sit in your hole and wallow.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't go down that deep tunnel that can get deeper.
Yeah.
Where there's no end. And what happens then is you're looking up at that little pinhole of light, and you just don't see a way to it.
Yeah.
You don't see a way out of it.
Yeah.
And so let's see here. What so what do we got coming up? We've got Jiu-Jitsu test.
November
what is 4th. That again?
November 4th.
November 4th in Park City, right?
Park
up
City.
Here. Mm-hmm. And then let's see, you have any trips coming up?
I got nothing coming up. I'm hitting the pavement, still taking coaching calls. But I'm kind of looking to figure out, a part of my life of how do I fund my life. Sure. Maybe we'll do an episode on, emotional money stuff at some point, because, there's a lot there when you talk about, finding yourself in your finances. But yeah, looking at changing up my employment a little bit, expanding my opportunities. I really feel like I could show up better for people in my life if I had a lot of money. So I'm trying to make it all a little tongue in cheek there, but you know what I mean? Like, that's what my focus is right now.
Kids come back tomorrow.
Kids come back this week. They're on fall break down in Moab right now.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's good. I forgot fall break was going on. Yeah.
Right.
Our kids' classes were so small, besides the one that you came, which was big.
Yeah.
And then thankfully you came on the mat, because I was like, man, a little overwhelmed by myself. Right.
Yeah. Sorry. But I got there sooner.
No trips?
Nothing.
That was it.
Nothing.
Heroes and Horses.
Yeah. I think my next big trip right now so far, when I look at my stuff, is going to be Big Frog in February. It's all booked out.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. We're going to, Misty and I are going to Mexico.
I'm so jealous.
I know. And so I don't know if she's going to listen to this, but maybe she will. So I've got some plans for that. Looks like, we're good. It's our 20th year anniversary.
Oh, congratulations.
Coming up next year. So, looks like I might re-propose to her somewhere cool. Yeah.
Awesome.
Pretty excited about that. And then Big Frog.
Big Frog.
Yeah, Big Frog in February. She actually said today that she might be interested in going.
Oh, cool.
Which would be kind of cool because Mona's always there by herself. And Mona's just hanging out with all the guys. And it would be nice for Misty, her to have like a friend, her and Angie and Mona and Misty can hang out while we do our thing. Yeah. Which would be cool. She said today, I think I'm going to go to Florida. And I was like, you better tell me soon. Yeah. Because I already got plans, lady. Yeah. I might need to book a hotel room. Yeah.
Tyler's sleeping by the pool again.
Cool. Yeah, so it's
holiday season too. So it's like, we're getting into November. I mean, it's almost November. I know. We got Thanksgiving and Christmas. So
yeah, Misty was talking about decorating for Christmas already, and I was like, oh my god,
not even Halloween yet.
Dude, she is a Christmas freak. She would put up Christmas today if I said, okay, you can start putting up. And being the boys fight, we fight at least till November. No Christmas stuff, but she would put it up today if she could. Right. And you know how she decorates our house. Yeah. Our house is decorated all the time. Yeah. It's like Pinterest.
Yeah. You're lucky. You're lucky.
Cool, man. So let's see here. You can still find you at Lost Boy Scouts. Yeah. They can find you training.
On the mats.
Park City Jiu-Jitsu.
Hit it hard the next 2 weeks, week and a half.
Yeah, got to get started on that test. Yeah. And me is a compassionate_gentleman. And Park City, come hang out. Come give us some input and give us some feedback.
Yeah. And thank you for being my friend, Danny.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all for listening, man.
Appreciate that.
Appreciate all of you.
Yeah. Take care, guys.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye.
Rise up and turn it back.